Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, In Stitches with Melissa and Amber. I am obviously by myself today. I had some updating I wanted to do on the trip we took to Virginia and Washington, D.C., and I have a ton of haul because I didn't take any of it to Virginia, and then I bought stuff while I was there too. So I kind of wanted to go over that, and if you guys care to see that, figured I'd do a video on it. So we live in Central Illinois, and all of our family and friends and everything live in Virginia. And my husband had a work conference in DC. I forgot to silence my phone, sorry. So we decided to go early, visit family for 5 days, and then we went to DC for 4 days, and then drove back to where our family is and stayed the night and left that next morning to come home. So it was a really fun trip. We stayed with my father-in-law and his wife. They built a new home a couple of years ago, and there's a upstairs area that has 3 bedrooms. So Ava has her own room, Parker has his own room, and then my husband and I share a room. So it's really nice. We enjoy staying there. So anyway, on Thursday the 29th, we left for Virginia, and then we stayed, the night, or we stayed the whole time in Virginia with my in-laws. And then Friday the 30th, I think is what it is, we dyed our Easter eggs. We brought all of our Easter stuff with us to Virginia so we wouldn't miss any of our traditions. And then we had a big dinner planned on the Saturday before Easter for any friends and family that were in town and wanted to come see us. It was just easier to have them all over to my father-in-law's house. And they're always gracious enough to have us host 30 people in their home. So we dyed Easter eggs that morning, and then Stephen and I went shopping for all the food and everything on Friday, and the kids actually stayed with my parents Friday night. They had my nephew in town with them, so my kids enjoyed staying with them. And then Saturday, we had all of our family and friends over. We had an Easter egg hunt with 300 eggs, just on the sink, it's fine. And about 14 kids doing the egg hunt, and then we had a dinner, and Melissa and her family actually stayed later. We can always count on them to hang out longer with us. And we had a fire in my father-in-law's fire pit. They have a beautiful view of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and they have a fire pit with a pergola and this great furniture in the back. And Melissa's daughter, one of her daughters, Clara, is our goddaughter. And she's the only one that really hung out there. Ava and her pulled up cushions, and we had popcorn and sat by the fire, and it was awesome. We had the best time. We always have a good time with Melissa and her kids and her husband. And then Sunday, on Easter Sunday, we went to church with Stephen's nanny, and then we went out to her house afterwards and had lunch. And I had my niece is 12. She'll be 13 in May, and I had a free frosted pumpkin stitchery cupcake that I had been wanting to teach her. I'm looking for a picture on my phone, sorry. I've been wanting to teach her how to cross stitch for years. I had the fabric picked out, the threads pulled, hoops and everything for years to show her. And every time we went to Virginia, we just didn't have time. So they were out at Stephen's nanny's house on Sunday. So I taught her how to cross stitch with the cupcake. It was like maybe a 10 or 15 by 15, super small. And I brought one to stitch with her thinking, oh, she probably would take her like a couple months to get this cupcake done. I didn't know how interested she'd be. She said, oh, I love this. This is just so relaxing. And I said, yeah, that's why I do it. And she just picked it right up. Didn't even need my help. I was going to show her how to do the bottom leg first and then go back and do the top leg. But it seemed a little easier on the Ada just to say, like, this is your square, because I'd never taught anyone to cross stitch before. But anyway, so that was on Sunday, and then her mom, my sister-in-law, were sending me pictures that night of her cross-stitching till like 11:30 at night, and she finished it Monday morning. So let me see if I can, is that gonna focus? So there's her cupcake. She stitched it on 14 count Ada Teenage Dream from Fabrics by LJ. And I thought she did a great job. I don't know if she's gonna keep it framed in this hoop or put it in a little tiny frame, something separate. So after she finished that cupcake Monday morning, we were supposed to go to our friend's house about an hour away because they couldn't make it Saturday. But their kids were coughy and stuffy and stuff, and I just didn't want to catch anything. They weren't sure if it was a cold or allergy, so we ended up not going. And then I bought another pattern for my niece Emma and met them at AC Moore and showed her how to pick out the flosses, hoops, how to pick out the fabric, like bring your pattern and your floss, you know. So she just ended up with like an ivory colored Ada because it had white clouds in it, so we didn't think the white would work. So I bought her all the stuff she needed to do another cross stitch project. And on Sunday I had given her like an extra pair of scissors I had. I put everything in floss away bags, so I gave her all of the floss in the bags and a highlighter and all of like the stuff she would need, because, you know, we're only see them once a year, so I wanted her to have everything she needed. So anyway, we went to AC Moore and kitted up another project for her. And then actually she got sick the next day and ended up in the emergency room and had to have her appendix taken out. So she hadn't started stitching again, and her mom sent me a picture. She started her pattern yesterday, I think. The pattern is showing, so I want to color through it so you can't see the pattern really quick. Sorry guys, hold please. Okay, and I asked and they said I could share her picture on here. So here she is stitching her second project, and I love it. She's got her pattern on her leg, scissors on the other leg. It makes me so happy. So there's one picture of her stitching, and then this one was really cute too, because I said, oh, that looks like me stitching with the dog on your lap. So sorry for the glare, I'm in my dining room. So anyway, she picked it right up and off she goes. So hopefully I taught her everything she needed to know. I said, you know, anytime you have any questions, we can Skype or whatever. So that was super cool, and I love that she's enjoying it and it's relaxing, and she's home from school for the week, so why not get some stitching done? So then that brings us to Tuesday. You know, we recorded our video at Melissa's on Tuesday morning. And then, oh, and that's the other thing too. If you're here and haven't watched video number 6, we, in celebration of us being actually together and filming a video, we are giving away a piece of feldspar, 18 by 27 size, casual linen, 28 count, and it's new from Market, from Picture This Plus. If you want this, go back to video 6. Say what your favorite Easter candy is, and we'll draw it when we do our next Stitchy update, which will probably be in 2 weeks. And then we're giving away some other things, some Past the Stash in that video too. So go watch that one if you haven't. And then in the afternoon, I went to my sister's house. She is a fantastic seamstress, like off the charts, crazy talented, makes wedding dresses from scratch. Just can figure anything out. She's always altered patterns or created her own patterns or sewn entire clothes without a pattern. She's amazing. So I had gone over there because I have these Advent animals. I'm not done with them, but I've got all the Advent animals, and I wanted them to hold something, you know, like candy or treats or whatever for the kids, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to do it. And I had bought this fabric as my backing fabric, thinking I wanted to do some kind of pillow with a pocket in the back or just a pocket or something. So I went over there and I said, you know, this is what I want to do, help me. So it took her maybe 30 minutes to figure it out how to work in a way that I could do it. I still need to add the ribbon, whoops, because she was just playing with it while I was there. But she just made it into a lined bag. And that's my fabric. So I just need to add going forward, I will sew the ribbon into the actual thing. into the pocket as I go. But with this one, she was just playing with it. But I ended up not having enough fabric. So she has tons of fabric stashed. So this one was mine. Then I got this one from her. And then this one from her. I thought all of those would look good as backing fabric for the little pockets. So we actually went through, I can sew, I need step-by-steps. So we went through and wrote step-by-step what I needed to do to recreate this when I get home. So we'll see. But I just love how that turned out. I'll have to hand sew the ribbon in for this one. And then she showed me how to include it with the others. But it's just so darling. So I want to get all of those done and then have my dad make something with pegs, like something out of wood with pegs to hang them from for Christmas. So he'll help me with that even though he doesn't know it yet. But so that was on Tuesday. That was super fun to kind of figure out how I was going to FFO those. And I can work on getting a few of those done and hopefully have those done by Christmas. And then Wednesday, we left for DC. It was about a 4-hour drive from where our family is in Virginia, and my mom went with us because my husband was going to be in conferences the whole time, and I wanted somebody to go with me into DC because we were actually staying in Alexandria with the kids. So Wednesday we went up to DC and went to the Natural History Museum and the American History Museum. And then Thursday we went to the National Zoo, which was really, really good. It was super fun. And then Friday we did a lot of the monuments, Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Memorial, the Korean and Vietnam memorials. We saw the World War II one, and then we walked like 30 minutes. It was not even a mile, but it took us forever to get to the International Spy Museum. That was so much fun. It was kind of expensive because all the other museums were free, but we had already walked a half hour, so we had to go. And we really enjoyed that. Like you had to get like a false identity and learn everything about who you're supposed to be. And it had tons of stuff on display from like the KGB, and it was super fun. It took us a while to get through that. And then on Saturday, that was our last day. My husband was going to be done with conferences about 5:30. Oh gosh, I got to sneeze. Okay, it passed, sorry. So we stayed in Alexandria that day, and it was cold and snowy. So we went to an art center that was in an old torpedo factory, which was really, really cool. Tons of artists, fiber arts and painting and photography and sculpting and pottery. I mean, anything you can imagine they had there. So that was really fun. And then after my husband was done with the conference, we drove back to Lynchburg, where our family's from, and stayed the night there and drove back on Sunday. Oh, and then what day? Saturday was the day I went to In Stitches in Alexandria. Yeah, that was the only day I drove anywhere. We took the metro into DC every other day. So I've got some haul from In Stitches too. So yeah, that's basically the roundup of our trip. So I will start with some haul. Got some good stuff. My father-in-law's wife, she wanted to learn how to cross stitch and had gotten a bunch of stuff for herself and had been watching Flosstube videos to learn how to. And she had gotten a small dimensions kit. And I said, well, and she just got frustrated with it. She lost her place and stopped, and they got a new puppy that kept playing with all of their, playing with her stuff while she was trying to stitch. So she'd kind of given up on it for a while, and I think I kind of got her to try something else. But I said, don't do the dimensions. They're deceptively easy looking, and they're not really. So she had some books with bird patterns and stuff, and we're actually FaceTiming last night or the night before, and she's going to stitch one of the birds. But anyway, she had gotten some stuff that she didn't want. So just the MCG Textiles 28 count even weave. The only other time I've used this, sorry, Parker, get him to be quiet. Like now. We've got the windows open in the living room, so I think he saw geese. So sorry if that blew your ears out. So anyway, the only other time I've used this, it wasn't even. So we'll see. So I took that. She gave me that. And then she also gave me this Charles Craft 28 count even weave. And can you see where the puppy Annie got a hold of it? Little stinker. She's so adorable though. She's a Maltipoo. Oh, fluffy little face, so adorable. She's the best. And then she had gotten this thinking that it would be easier to stitch on than the 14 count Ada, and I was like, oh, that's actually smaller. So she gave me just the white Hardanger 22 count. And so she gave me all of that. When we left, she was working on bobbinating a lot of her floss. So hopefully she'll get started on her bird and fall in love with it and get more stuff. I kind of showed her 1, 2, 3 stitch and all the different patterns and designers that I thought she would like. So I was supposed to write down some and I didn't. So Pat, if you're watching, sorry, I'll let you know some of those designers if you want. Okay, so she gave me that. Before we left, I had actually gone to the Counted Needle in Bloomington, Illinois, which is technically my LNS, but it's about an hour away. And I needed specialty floss for my Mania plans, which Melissa and I will be back next week to talk about that. So I'll show you what I got from the Counted Needle really quickly. So I got, these are crescent colors. I got Bunny Honey and Perfect Pie Crust. I'm going to do 18 starts in May. I've never actually really done Mania before. I've never followed through with it. Oh, my daughter pulled up a picture of Annie.
Or you can just...
Sorry, the glare. Isn't she the cutest?
She's amazing. She like always jumped on me when I woke up.
Yeah, she loved Ava. Okay, so these are Gentle Arts, Summer Meadow, Burnt Orange, Hyacinth. It's more purple than it's showing up. Dried Thyme, Soot, and that's more gray and black. It looks like it's showing up blue. I don't know, dude. Okay, Weeks Dye Works, Cinnabar, Lancaster Red. That's more of a maroon. It's showing up a brighter red. Charcoal, Swamp Water, Whiskey, Grits, which is not that bright white. It's kind of like a parchment and light tan. Oscar. And then Classic Color Works, I've got Black Coffee, Brandied Pears, Almost Auburn, Wilderness, Weeping Willow, Hazelnut, Hickory Sticks, Just Rust. That looks a lot more orange than it's showing up. Muddy Puddle, Secret Garden, Pebble Beach, Roasted Chestnut, Glazed Carrots, Deep Fennel. It's more of a minty light, not like it's showing up. And Shabby Sheep, again, not that bright. I am doing a lot of my Plum Streets Hello seasons for Mania, so that's what a lot of that is. All right, so I'm going to move that over there. And then also while I was there, I got a sled for, I'm going to make a lot of the Lizzie Kate ones for Christmas gifts, and I've never actually made one. So I've just bought one sled just to try it, and it came with the perforated paper. Here's the information for the counted needle if you want it. Come on, there we go. And then I got, before we left, you know, I went to Stitch Away and they gave us that pattern that Sue Hillis designed, where we got the top half with the house and then the first month. And then every month after that, you could either do a $15 purchase or donate $15 to, I can't remember what it is. The money goes to the local school there to help provide food for the kids to this in the school system in the district there. So I had gotten late. Just the order didn't ship for some reason. So I got February and March. And that's the whole thing together so far. I have not gotten April's yet, and I haven't checked my account to see if the amount has already come out. I have it on auto ship, but I don't think it is actually working. So, and then also before we left, I was watching Danielle Stitcherista's video where she did a tour of her finishing room. And you know, last year I did Joyful World monthly things all year long, and then I FFO'd them into no-soap cubes. Well, I was buying the foam and just cutting it with the kitchen knife, and a lot of them aren't even and they look terrible, and I was thinking about, just since I didn't glue or sew anything, just taking all the pins out, fixing my foam, and then putting them back. Well, she showed her Styro Cutter Plus on her video. And then I asked her, hey, did that actually work? Did you like it? And she said, yeah. So I bought it. This is what it looks like without the cord on it. So I need to clean it. I actually didn't really need it for anything right away. And Melissa had finished 2 projects and was talking about doing a no-soap cube with them. I said, well, I've got extra foam in my styrofoam cutter. Do you want me to bring it to Virginia with me? And she said, yeah. So I cut those for her while we were there, not at her house. I did it at my sister's house because we ran out of time at her house. And this thing's amazing. It's awesome. So if you need to cut foam, you need to get this. It's awesome. So yeah, I need to go back and redo all of mine from last year that are all wonky. So I think that's everything I got before we left. Oh yeah, one more thing. While I was at Melissa's, after we did our video, she was like, you want to come see my stash? I said, yeah. So she let me pick out, she had a bunch of silken colors, and I got lavender haze. So she gave me that, which I thought was so nice. And then while I was at the Counted Need, or no, just kidding, in Stitches in Alexandria, oh my gosh, they have so many patterns. I thought the Counted Needle had a lot of patterns. Seriously, if you need something, call them because they've probably got it. It's ridiculous. I was so overwhelmed when I went in there. And you know, I bought so many patterns at Stitch Away, and then I bought the whole series of the Gift of Cross Stitch, whatever that magazine was that everybody was buying. I bought the whole set. So I've got enough patterns to last me a lifetime. But this was in the 25% off bin. And I've been looking for something to stitch for my parents, and my dad's a hunter. And I thought this would appeal to him and my mom. And she was with me, and she said, yeah, sure. So I got that. Plum Street Samplers, Dear Friends. So cute. So I got that. And then this fabric, Lavender Rose, is what it's called. Kind of a pinky purple. I am stitching the Vintage Eggs by Prairie Schooler, but I didn't want to do it on black, and I had some blue fabric, but then a lot of the eggs have blue in them. So I'm going to do half in blue and half in this pinky purple lavender color. And then I bought the floss I needed for, I think it's back in video 1, where Melissa found like a pumpkin in a magazine on the free table at Stitch Away. And she had just grabbed some flosses out of like a discount basket that Barb had in the annex, and I loved her choices, so I took a picture of it and bought everything I needed to basically copy Melissa's thing. I got oatmeal, Mediterranean Sea, and then Swiss chocolate. And Melissa stitched hers on, or is stitching hers on, Christmas in Williamsburg. So I just need to buy that. Can you believe that's all I got in stitches? I was seriously overwhelmed when I went in there, and I knew I didn't need any more patterns, and I didn't prepare and make a list of fabric choices that fabric I needed for patterns I've already got. So I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't find more, but I also didn't want to spend money just to spend money, because we'd already been gone for like 11 days or 10 days at that point. So, but I will show you some, well, that's all the stitching if you want to go, but I do have some books. We went to a used bookstore in Lynchburg called Bookshop on the Avenue, and it's an old house, and it's painted like an American flag, and it's super quirky and really cool. I used to shop there a lot when we lived in town, but my son only brought one book with him, or maybe two, and read them all. Read it before we were, too far into the vacation, so we went there to buy some books. This is a series I always read, J.D. Robb in Death, which is actually Nora Roberts, but it's like a futuristic, not too far in the future where it's like, this is ridiculous, doesn't make any sense, but far enough in the future I think it's super interesting. She's a homicide detective, so it's mostly about that with a little bit of like romance relationship stuff, but not as much as like the regular Nora Roberts books are. And there was a few that I was missing from this series. I think there's like over 30 books, and I'm missing like the last 4 or 5. So I got these 2. I still need more, but I just grabbed those because they had them. And then Pat, my stepmother-in-law, I guess, she reads a ton, and she was like, go through my books and grab whatever you want. And this was Sunday morning before we left. So she said this book was really good, James Patterson, Beach Road. So I read this first. I started it Sunday on the way home, and finished it yesterday. It's really, really good. It takes place in the Hamptons, and there are 4 murders, and this high school football kid, well, I guess he's graduated, he's like an NBA hopeful, is accused of the murders, and it's about this guy, Tom, who is a lawyer, maybe not a great one, trying to get him off. And whoa, the twist. Pat, if you're watching, holy cow, you were right, this book's amazing. You guys, everyone needs to read it. It was really, really good. So I finished that already, and we went to the dentist yesterday, and 2 of the ladies in the office were like, oh, I like James Patterson, is that good? So I think I'm gonna go drop it off at the library at the dentist, and be like, hey, this was really good, you guys should read it. Because Pat passed it to me, so I'll pass it along. And then she also let me borrow, or gave me, you gave me these, right? Maybe I should double check before I drop it off at the dentist. The Beach House, which is also, takes place in the Hamptons. I'm not very far. I'm only getting ready to finish chapter 9, but that sounds like a lot, but it's not. That's as far as I've gotten. And it is also about this kid who gets murdered on the beach, and he's a townie. And that's as far as I've gotten. So, and then this one I have not read, obviously, because I haven't been home enough days. Nora Roberts, Black Hills. I don't even know what it's about. I haven't read Nora Roberts in a really long time. Sounds like a kid at his grandparents' ranch in South Dakota, and the neighbor girl. Yeah. So I haven't read this yet, but she gave me that. Gave/borrowed this. So I've actually been reading a lot more lately. That's why I haven't got a lot of stitching done. Let me check my notes, because I feel like I always have so much to say, and then after we record, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't say half of what I wanted to. So I tried to make really detailed notes this time. Yeah, I think that's everything. So Melissa and I are both doing Mania, so we will be back next week for a Mania video. just showing you what we're going to work on and our plans. And then the following week, we will be back with our regular Stitchy update. And that's when we will announce the winners of the giveaway and the 2 Pass the Stashes. So again, if you guys want any of that stuff, go back and watch video number 6 and comment with your favorite Easter candy for the fabric and then the name of the patterns for the Pass the Stash. So I think that's it. Thanks for all the new subscribers and likes and comments. Melissa and I are just having a blast doing this. I'm like 2.5, 3 weeks behind on Flosstube because we were traveling, and before we were traveling, I was reading and just busy packing and stuff. So, I need to close that. Sorry. I totally am drawing a blank what I was talking about. I got distracted. Oh, so on the way back from Virginia, I went through like the people I watch on a regular basis and moved everything over to my watch later list. And I had like 33 videos. And that doesn't even count all the new people I want to watch that are going to StitchCon that I don't already watch. So I've got a ton of Flosstube to catch up on. Feels weird being behind because I'm usually not. So yeah, I've been busy watching Flosstube since we've been home. I've made it through probably 15 videos, but we were busy yesterday with lots of appointments. We were gone all day. So anyway, thanks again for being here. Melissa and I are really enjoying ourselves making videos and stuff, and we will see you guys next week when we tell you all about our mania plans. Talk to you then. Bye.